Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of AV Tiles and Sanitary Kollam, Kollam's authorized Kajaria dealer. Today we are going to speak about tile adhesive and the need for tile adhesive. So let's say today the cement costs around 9 rupees kilogram and the tile adhesive starts from, the base model starts from rupees 18 per kilogram, which is the stipulated price given by the company. So if something which is being done with the use of cement which costs only 9 rupees, why should you use a product which starts costing from 18 rupees and goes as much as 100 rupees per kilogram? Let's find out. In order to understand the need of tile adhesive in fixing tiles to the wall or your floor, we should first understand something about cement. Now, anything which is done using cement, it's a popular information that it needs curing. So, if you are plastering the wall or you are doing a concrete roofing, you need curing for different length of time. So, for if it's plaster, it is 5 to 6 days. For the terrace, it's around 15 days. And we religiously adhere to it. But when it comes to tiling, to pour water into these tiles or to make the water reach to the center of the tiles from these small lines that you see here, it's a very difficult task. And often the projects do not have time for curing when it comes to tiling. So that's where the need of tile adhesive comes in. Cement is basically a binding material. It is not an adhesive material. Adhesion is just its side effect. So cement is used to bind different kind of materials together so that product serves a different purpose or helps us form a solid structure as hard as a rock. But the tile adhesives are the actual adhesives. As the name suggests, it carries a suffix called adhesive. So tile adhesives also have cement, but then apart from this cement, the tile adhesives also have latex in it. So which means that the need of curing is considerably less when you are using a tile adhesive, and that's where it serves many purposes. Its cost is definitely, the base model costs double than that of cement, but then you should understand that cement is never a product to apply tiles on wall or floor. Cement is the most basic part of any infrastructure development of a state or a civilization, and maybe that's why we have officially recognized cartels in cement, at least in India. But that's a subject for a different episode. Now, cement is, as I told you, is a binding material. It is either binding sand among itself, or it is binding sand with stone, or it is binding sand, stone and steel, which is in the case of concrete of the roof. Now, apart from these binding properties, the cement is never, or cement was never an adhesive material. Adhesiveness was only side part, and it was used again and again for decades in India for the purpose of tiling. But then tiles today have risen from the point of being a vanity product from a necessity product. Now tiles are being used in every conceivable place. As we speak now, Kajaria vitrified division is already coming up with 15 millimeter thick tiles which will be replacing the natural stones like Kota stone and Shabat stone, Kadapa and all these stones. Now tiles, as you see, there are some tiles which never see the light of the day. They are used inside the room, and there are tiles which face the entire sunlight of the entire day. Then we have tiles which never see a drop of water, but then there are tiles which are lined inside a water tank and they are soaked in water forever. So which means for all these applications, this and many more which I haven't mentioned here, we need a separate variety of tile adhesive for each of these applications. So it's very important to know that when you are using tile especially, that as many varieties of tiles are there, there are, if not so much, at least a considerable variety of tile adhesives that you need to choose from. Let's find out more about that. Now there are basically three kind of tile adhesives that we should definitely know about. Now I'm not going into the technicalities of it because it's very difficult to understand. Let's say it price wise. So the base model here is tile adhesives that are sold for around 18 rupees kilogram to 21 rupees kilogram. Those are the basic models. Now the next model which are sold between around 25 rupees to 30 rupees. The next model which are slightly more in adhesiveness are sold between 35 to 40 rupees. Now let's learn about them in detail. The first model is generally called tile on screed tile. Now tile on screed tile, we understand screed is a plastered surface basically. So tile on screed are the basic models which as I told you, sell for around 18 to 21 rupees. Now the common example for these adhesives will be MYK Laticrete, which is the leading brand in India. It's called 305 in grey form. So tile adhesives come in both grey form and white form. So let's consider, we are speaking about only grey products here today. So MYK Laticrete has 305 in that category, and ROF, which is a brand owned by Pidilite, which is one of India's biggest companies. The same material will be termed as T01. So ROF T01 is a corresponding item. Now let's say a local brand, or let's say relatively unknown brand called Sarabond, they name it Sarabond 26. So likewise, no matter what the brand is or what the brand names are or the series name are, basically they fall into that price category of 18 to 21 rupees. Now who should use it? These are the adhesives which are used to put the tiles on plastered floors or plastered walls. But then there is another aspect to this matrix, and that is that either these tiles should be ceramic in nature, which means they have to be soaked in water first so that they drink some water and create some capillary effect. Now once this capillary effect is created, when you put these tiles, a little bit of the grout enters into this tile and forms a root like structure in it. Now the ceramic tiles can be confidently be put on floor and on wall with this tile on screed or base model of tile adhesives. But then if you want to use a vitrified tile, you should ditch this product and you should catch the next one. Now suppose you are using vitrified tile and you want it to apply on floor and on wall. The second type, or commonly known tile on tile product, which are sold for roughly between 25 to 30 rupees. Now this category has to be used when you're using vitrified tile. Now vitrified tile have the property that they don't suck water, or their water penetration level is less than 0.05%. So which means that root formation which is generally created in a ceramic tile, that won't happen here. So which means the tile, if it has to stick to the floor or it has to stick to the wall, it has to stick using the adhesive properties of the tile adhesive itself. So which means you need more adhesive capacity in the material. So if you are using base model with vitrified tile, you should know that you are compromising your wall and floor. Now the common models which are available in this price category where you need to use vitrified tiles are again MYK Laticrete calls it 307, and ROF in this case calls it T02, and Sarabond will call it Sarabond 28. So again, no matter what the name of the product is or the name of the series is, if it is falling in this price category, then you should know that it can be used with vitrified tiles. Now again, there is another matrix, or there is another factor to it which you need to consider, that what height you are taking these tiles to. Now earlier we used to restrict the wall tile heights to 7 feet or lintel level as we used to call it, but now increasingly architects and contractors are going for the 10 feet tiling, or means tiling till the roof. Now tiling till the roof is dicey. When you are going so up, these tile adhesives may not hold up for that height. Why? Because I'll tell you a little secret here. Because the first tile which is on the floor, the first line in the bathroom, that is always stuck to the floor, so which means it has support, but then you are placing spacers in between and putting other tiles. So which means every other tile which is on top of it is actually suspended on the wall. So this suspension has to hold on for 30 years because that is the approximate life of a house. And so for 30 years, if a tile which does not have porosity at all in it, it need proper adhesive. So that proper adhesive is the next level adhesive. So let me conclude once again. If you are going with vitrified tile and you are applying it either at a very high point or up to a very high point, or you are applying it where there is huge temperature variation, like the front elevation of the house which takes up all the sunlight of the day, or you are applying it on the terrace where it's drenched in the rainy season, it gets heated up in the summer season, and generally used for purposes which are like storing materials, or maybe drying up something, or moving some objects on top of it, which is rough usage. In those conditions, you need to consider the next level. Let's know more about it. The next level of tile adhesives are used where there is extreme temperature variations, or where the footfall is very high, or we are using it to haul heavy objects. Now all these conditions are generally seen in houses. It is the front elevation on the factory floor, let's say, or some place which is drenched in water, for example, let's say swimming pool, if you want to put, or if you want to line your water tank with tiles. Now all these are conditions which are not normal or cannot be termed as normal. So for that you should need to consider at least this third category, which is sold between 35 to 40 rupees. Now this category is the beginning of the specialized tile adhesives. Anything above this is called or falls under the category of high flex adhesives. Now we are not going deep into those because for general viewers it is difficult to understand the technicalities of those things. So price wise it's very easy to understand. That's why we have created this video, the price as the center of the video's content. Now this 35 to 40 rupees material is ideal for everywhere. If you can afford it, I think you should use it for your bathroom wall. If you are going very high, you could put it on the floor, but it's the matter of affording it or striking the right value while building your dream house. So I hope, like every episode, you would have gained some insight into this seemingly boring topic of tile laying. So keep posted for more such informative content on AV Tiles Kollam.